You are now tuned in to the Sultan podcast, where our purpose is cultivating leaders, our focus is spirituality, the divine masculine, and leadership. And in today's episode, we'll be backtracking a little bit, going back to the foundation. The name of this discussion will be Returning to the Foundation. I am City Bliss.
Yes. I'm City M, aka Moonstone and Walking Crystal. Peace.
I am Blue Lotus, triple threes, emphasis on the threes, eternally. The magical
I am
three.
City Ra. Bless. Love.
All right. Okay, y'all. Another pleasure. It's a pleasure to have everybody back once again, and it's a pleasure also to have one another here, but also all of our viewers. Make sure that you like and that you subscribe to the video. Show some love.
And share.
Yeah, share with your friends. Do whatever you need to do, because this is some powerful work that we're doing here in terms of just kind of understanding what it is to be a divine masculine. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, we're all learning daily. You know what I mean? And for those who remember our very first episode, we were speaking about the importance of leadership qualities, because leadership is very important within the realm of the divine masculine. Without leadership, it's like you're not really divine masculine. No, I don't want to say that, but you have to have some sort of, even if it's leading of yourself. you know this doesn't always mean that you always have to be a leader in every community. That doesn't make you divine masculine. Some people are, I feel like, built to have people lead them. Like every guide needed a guide once. So just kind of it, but it is knowing that once you do get the proper information, that you can lead yourself into a state of divineness and divinity, and while at the same time listening to source. So um we had just kind of backtracking to the first episode, we all had different leadership qualities that we covered, and that was our format before. And I guess I'll start with mine. And I want everybody to kind of get in on it. But one of the leadership qualities is that we had was confidence. And confidence is a very, very powerful leadership quality that we,
Woo!
yeah. So, the reason I bring up confidence too is because we have to understand that no matter what trials and tribulations that we're going through, we broke the word down, which meant with, and fidens, we came from the Latin word fidem, which means faith. So it's all about walking with faith and keeping the faith
Yes.
and everything. And faith is not something that you can see. What makes something qualify as faith is that which you cannot see. That which you cannot see. You still have your eyes open, your eye open, understanding that there is a divine plan, and that you're a part of it, and that you get to synchronize with whatever part you want to within this plan. So long as source wills it, and it unfolds through you. So I think confidence is about having faith in something, but also something bigger than your own self. Because we don't always have it. You know what I mean? Like sometimes there's an old saying within the Christian community, which is like, Jesus, take the wheel. You know what I mean? So sometimes you have to understand that with that confidence, sometimes it's not just faith in you, but it's faith in something that is connected to you, but also beyond yourself. What do you think about that, Sultans?
Yo, I definitely want to hop on that and elaborate and add value from the gate, because when I hear and feel confidence, I'm feeling solar plexus energy. Let's say you're about to initiate a task or a project or something new that you're unfamiliar with. You have to use that gut feeling, that core strength for your foundation to keep yourself poised. You know,
Yeah.
like let's say for instance or example, you're about to do a public speaking speech, or even whether it's a short passage or long narrative, so on and so forth, even poetry or whatever. You know, someone who is nervous will start to develop quote unquote butterflies in their stomach. You
Right.
know, and even some people will feel like their stomach is tying in knots because of the anxiety and nervousness. You know,
Right.
so it's about the transmutation of all that unknown fear, basically, especially once
Anxiety.
if it's you know something new for that person. You know, and once again, walking with faith, trusting in God, um, in a matter sense or speaking, letting Jesus take the wheel, quote unquote. You
Right.
know, but not letting Jesus take the wheel, but let Jesus ride shotgun with you, and you
Right.
take the wheel and trust.
Mm,
Mm,
You know, that's just what I feel with confidence, the straight solar plexus energy, and having that will and um strength and courage to enact on what you need to enact on and to take care of your task with
right.
grace.
right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I
Um,
agree. I
and,
agree, definitely. And to tie it back into something you said in your introduction, City M, you mentioned leadership and it having to do with being able to lead yourself. And I think it takes a certain amount of confidence to want to lead yourself. And what I mean by that is, to lead yourself ultimately is to stand up for your truths and what you know is in accordance with your divine path, your mission, your purpose, why you're here. So it takes a certain amount of confidence to stand in that and own up to that in order to lead yourself. And from that, you know, that quality of leadership that you carry is naturally going to flow into the lives of others. So I feel like anyone who has a certain amount of leadership over themselves from that confidence ultimately is just a natural leader of others, whether they know it or not.
exactly. Exactly. I love that. Um, how about you, City Rod? Anything on confidence, in terms of
So,
it being a
just for the
foundational
sake of
point?
time, like the way that Bliss explained it was perfect. It was that when you have confidence, you're able to lead yourself, and in leading yourself, you're able to lead others because we know that leadership starts from a place of servanthood, right?
Mm,
So you're not leading others, you're leading yourself into servanthood and becoming someone who's able to give back to your teammates. You understand that the people that you are leading are just teammates on loan. So when you have that state of being in mind, and not that I'm over these people, I'm directing, I'm delegating them, I'm adding value to them. For you to even have that mindset, there has to be a certain level of audacity. And I believe confidence is definitely the foundation for that audacity to
Mhm,
lead and serve.
mhm.
absolutely.
Sometimes confidence is mistaken for arrogance.
Mm-hmm.
That's people's. I mean, sometimes, and they're totally different things. But sometimes that's people's projections and other things. But that's another conversation. And this leads us to the second part. Of what I had to speak about, which was effective communication.
Mm,
But sometimes
Wait,
arrogance is called for because sometimes the arrogance comes from experience.
mm,
Like the
correct,
only reason I have
correct.
my confidence is because the experiences I've been through, I
Right.
know what I know.
That's
right.
effective communication.
And
Right.
and
One of the
go ahead, Bliss. You want to say something? Because I
Yeah,
definitely want
I was
to
gonna
further
tie it into
elaborate.
what you were saying about the solar plexus, and you mentioned something about public speaking, and then right when you did that, you reminded me of this mudra, which is for communication. So I appreciate that, and I've just been, yeah.
Give thanks. Give thanks. I appreciate you. I appreciate all y'all for tying all that in. And I just want to add another value point to that is, realistically speaking, some people don't have that cheerleader or those cheerleaders in their corner that support cheering them on. You got some people that's doing this shit 10 toes, one man army or one woman army.
Yeah,
So if they don't have people believing in them, they have to do it for themselves.
straight
Real
up.
talk. Real talk.
It's
You know what
your
I'm saying?
dream. It's your dream. It's your purpose. It's the thing that you're unfolding. That you're unfolding, and like people will give you but so much, but They still working on their own stuff. You know what I mean? A friend of mine is like, yo, oh, my bad. A friend of mine was like, yo, why don't people share my stuff? I said, because it's not their dream, bro. I was like, it's not their dream, bro. They're gonna share a little bit and stuff like that, but if it's not their dream, then like you expect them to go as hard as you,
Right.
you know. But just to, cause for the sake of time, I want to skip over to effective communication, and you know what that means, because I want everybody to get a go in terms of like what their, you know, what some of their parts were
Mm-hmm.
in returning to the foundation, because that's what we're doing. We're returning to the foundation of what it means to be a city sultan, and some of the qualities, the leadership qualities that are inherent in the sultan. So the next one is effective communication. Now, when I hear effective communication, I mean I hear like doing the work to calm unity, to unify synchronistically in tone with someone else so that they get what you mean, but also doing the work to listen.
Mm.
And not just listen to the words, but listen to the tonality underneath the words, understand what the person is trying to say, you know what I mean, and their intention. Like there's different levels of communication as well, like
Absolutely.
so many levels of communication. And you know,
A lot of it's nonverbal.
verbal. You know, the largest of percent of it is nonverbal. Words are what come out later. Words are the byproduct of of all the levels of communication. You know what I
Mm.
mean? They're probably the densest of communication. You know, one some of the densest of them, and then after that is like physicality, which is another conversation. But you know, effective communication, doing the work to make sure that you sound clear, and also doing the work to listen when somebody may not be that clear. How
Mm.
about y'all? What y'all think about that?
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. And to the different multitude and variables and layers of communication altogether, whether it be vocalized, whether it be through body language, whether it be through eye gesture, you know what I'm saying? Tone. I'm glad that you mentioned that, City M, about the tonality, because, you know, how you speak to people plays a major part as far as effective communication, you know. And since we're on this topic, you definitely want to be respectful to everyone that you're dealing with upon communicating with them.
Oh
You
yes.
know, treat them how you would like to be treated,
Right,
you
right.
know. So connecting that with the form of mindfulness when communicating, you know, whether it's something simple as, hey, can you meet me at Union Square at 5 p.m., or something major like, yo, I have this deadline, did you finish your part of the script, you know, we got to submit this by 9 p.m. sharp, you know, no ifs, ands, or buts, no excuses, you feel me? So communication is everything.
Yeah.
Like, that's synonymous. It's like it can be applied universally. You know what I'm saying? With all relationships, whether it's family, friends, business, intimacy, you know, spouse, community. Listen, if the left hand don't know what the right hand is doing, shit is gonna fuck up. Period.
Yeah.
I don't care what the task
Touche.
is, what the
You
project
know,
is.
communication being you know, 10% of your words, 45% of your tonality, then 45% of your body language. Just be aware of the different tonalities in your, you know, in your life. Realize it's not that hard to hear the different tonalities. People think it's a difficult thing, but just realize, think about when your mother used to call you when you were smaller, right? You could tell when you were in trouble. You could tell when your mom was calling you to get something to eat, or you could tell, okay, you know what, I just want to talk to you. I just want you to come here. Do you know what I mean? Like, for example, my mom,
That's so true.
Ra. Oh shit, I'm about to get in trouble, man. Damn, what did I do? Yo, Ra. Oh, okay, it's ready. It's time to eat. I gotta go eat now. Ra. Oh, she's calling me. She's just calling me. She probably want me to pick the remote up or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
That's like right
realize that
there.
these are things that we already reacted to when we were younger. You know, and just be aware of that now.
Right.
Right. Same thing is said with different tones, and that helps you to get the clarity of what the message is. Like, that's so, yeah, I could
You know,
definitely.
when somebody call your name, you be like, "Oh, what I do?"
Hmm. Um, uh, for effective communication, I would definitely say presence is extremely important. Being 100% present when you're communicating and when you're being communicated to. You know, someone speaking to you, like your presence, 100% presence, not having your mind on what to say next when the person's done speaking, or thinking about something they said a few seconds ago, but continuing to remain with them. Because ultimately, like we've all just said in different ways, it's not about the words that they're saying, it's just the energy, just the subtle things, and as long as we're 100% present, regardless of what we heard every word, was able to take in every word. At the end of when they're done speaking, we will know exactly what to say and exactly how to respond because subconsciously we've taken in every message they've sent to us. So, presence, 100%.
Okay, so there takes a sense of when we're communicating, a sense of humility as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that that's a good bridge over onto City Bliss's
Yeah,
perspective on humility. Like when you listen and you're communicating with somebody, sometimes they're not always saying something you want to hear.
that's
You know what
true.
I mean? But like being, but just also as a leader, speaking of returning to this foundation, speaking of
Mm-hmm.
being a leader, um, how can humility be utilized within leadership?
Yeah,
Uh,
I think to tie that in with communication, I feel as though humility plays in even in instances when you might not want to hear what another person has to say, right? So it's like you can learn. I, from my experience and what I feel and know to be very true is that everyone is here to teach us something different. So regardless of what another person may be saying to me, even if I don't want to hear it, I know that I'm still learning from this experience in its entirety. Whether I'm learning that, yeah, that message that they're communicating is not something I vibrate with. That's not on my frequency, or it's I'm gonna learn from it ultimately. So it takes a level of humility to just stay in a position of like I don't know more than this person because really in comparison to all the information and intelligence in the universe, I know very little. So there's always something for me to learn, and it takes a level of humility to just accept that and embrace that. And when it comes to leadership, definitely, because in a position of leadership, you may have others who are working with you alongside you, and they're sharing their visions and dreams. And if say I'm a leader of a team and I feel as though I know all the answers, then that takes away from effective communication, being able to listen to the others on my team, and we all end up losing because I'm not humble. I'm in a state of arrogance because I feel like I know more than everyone else. So yeah, being humble is definitely important when it comes to leadership.
Absolutely, because some people are not humble out of deficiency or of self value or self worth. They don't feel
Mm,
it, so they don't. They feel like they have to be the opposite of like like you said, City Rod. There's a point for arrogance, but it's also knowing when to curb that. And like arrogance is like I don't know, like maybe arrogance is not the word because arrogance is like almost nasty. You know what I mean? It's like when you're being arrogant, like arrogant is like no regard. I don't think a leader should have no regard.
right.
I think that with let me look up the definition um of arrogance.
Yeah,
Exaggerating
see,
or
let's
disposed.
look up arrogance. Let's go into
Exag-
that because
ex-
remember there was a
exaggerate.
question I asked Am yesterday. I said, what is the combination of and what did I said, what's the combination of anger and action? No,
Aggression,
aggression and action.
aggression, and action. Yeah, so when you're looking at arrogance, you're looking at exaggerating or disposed to exaggerate one's own worth or importance, often by an overbearing manner, an arrogant official, showing an offensive attitude of superiority,
Mm.
proceeding from a characterized by arrogance and arrogant reply.
I feel like an offensive attitude of superiority would tie into like being in a leadership role, like that part for me. I resonate with that. I mean, as far as like,
Yet to the other side,
It
you know what
seems
I mean?
like arrogance really is or is just a perception. I guess
Yeah,
somebody's perception of my confidence, when they perceive it as offensive, then it becomes arrogance. But it doesn't seem like arrogance has any substantial reality in itself.
Mm.
it has to be arrogant. Like it's arrogance to them, but inherently, it's probably not arrogant.
It's arrogance to them,
Yeah.
exactly.
So, so
Yeah.
to them, like you know what I mean. But I don't think a leader, like you know, a leader, like I don't think even in arrogance, like I don't know. I just feel like the word itself is like the connotation of it.
Hmm.
I don't think it says what a leader does. I think a leader kind of just like it's love. Like sometimes love could be tough. You know what I mean?
Right.
Sometimes love could be like, you know what I mean? But it's like, yo, I gotta, like, if you're not working, I gotta boost you out my way. But it's not in an exaggeratory way. I'm not gonna go over the extreme to do it. I'm gonna go just enough. And if you retreat until you retreat, and then I hold. You know what I mean? Or until total destruction. But I don't even think any of that is arrogance. I think that's just like protection almost.
Hmm.
But that's another conversation. You know, we could talk about
Yo,
it.
and you see that builds character.
Yeah,
You know, definitely one doesn't want an arrogant leader. Everything has a balance to it. You know, believe in yourself, but don't overdo it to where you're making people feel uncomfortable, or they're you're making them. It's like you're belittling them,
right.
whether knowingly and or unknowingly. You
Like
know,
Trump had
so
a level. Trump's. I'm sorry.
go ahead.
Trump had a level of arrogance to him, and I think it worked to a degree. But I also think that parts of it came to bite him later. You know what I mean? So it's like just kind of having that balance. But humility, it's like arrogance is like it's not a question in the air. It's definitely like it's definitely there. Like the capability to be arrogant is definitely there within a leader. But like when it's applied and things like that, it's probably up to the situation. But we do know for sure and for certain that humility must be had at the base level.
Yeah.
Like you know, and
Yeah,
humility.
yes, because I was gonna say that also makes one more relatable. You know, it's like as you're the king, you're also humbling yourself to the peasant. You know, and not to, you know, put people in a category. You get what I'm saying? But it's just generally speaking. You know, like I am you and you are me, but I'm gonna lead us because I'm seeing it from both perspectives in the manner of speaking.
Absolutely. So, okay, so just kind of moving it over to honesty and you have honesty and positivity. So maybe we can do a bit of both. Like but we'll double part the question. Like
Hmm.
City Bliss, what is honesty to you and then how does that tie into or what is positivity? So like what's honesty and positivity in a leader in terms of this foundation we're speaking about in City Sultan, the Sultan.
Hmm. Honesty. As soon as I think about that, I integrity comes to mind,
Mm,
and truth. Regardless of whether or not that truth will make others look at you, with a side eye. You know, which it's funny because that ties into like a lot of the other factors, especially like effective communication, just being honest, regardless of how others may receive that. And with positivity, I feel like being positive that you being honest is gonna have a great outcome, regardless, of how it may be taken. Just having that faith overall that like living in your truth and communicating effectively and honesty, yeah, is ultimately gonna have a positive effect on you and the team and the success of whatever you're doing. And just yeah, I'm gonna end with that. Yes. So,
Absolutely. Honesty
No,
is
I love that. It's almost like positivity is living in honestly, is living honestly with yourself,
yeah.
and living honestly with yourself is living honestly with others. Because all
Mm.
I'm doing when I'm being positive is I'm treating someone how I would like to be treated. I'm
Mhm.
treating the world how I would like to be treated. I'm smiling, I'm giving, I'm positive, you know what I mean? Everything, I'm adding value. I would want somebody to add value to me, so I add value to my reality, but that that feeling of wanting to add value, that feeling of wanting to exude joy, that is you have to have a sense of honesty with yourself
Mhm.
about, I'm honest about that, that's my feeling, because we're not taught that. We're not taught to be positive. We're not sometimes we're not socialized around positive people. We're
Right.
socialized negative people. So sometimes you have to be honest with yourself, because you're going against the grain of what society is at that time, that societal norm of negativity or a cultural norm of negativity, and going, you know what? Let me be honest with myself. I don't resonate with that culturally. I don't resonate with that societally. I resonate more with the part of myself that is positive, that is joyous, that wants to add value, that wants to be in nature. You know what I mean? Like that is loving. You know. So
Yeah, and we were taught
yeah.
not to be honest about all of our feelings. Certain feelings you were told to disregard or hide or bottle in, which is
Your shadow self.
all of that.
That
To
place
be
that you're
honest
going
about your
on to.
shadow self is a positive thing.
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly. Wow. Yeah, it's like replacing that thought process of like, yo, when I go to my shadow self, it's actually positive because that's going to help me with my
Exactly.
journey. I love
What a
that.
paradigm shift.
Yes, paradigm shifts. So, um,
Mm.
so yeah, positivity too. Positivity is a very strong thing because I think it also ties into optimism. But positivity is just your ability to keep your same frequency like consistent and unified in that frequency. Like it has to be unifying, synchronistic, and makes whole. That's what positive. Negative is anything that breaks apart. That it's discordant vibrations. You know what I mean? Like all of these things are negativity.
Mm.
Positivity or anything that is
Yo,
synchronous.
later remind me to look up the etymology of negativity and positivity.
Okay.
Mm.
Um. So let's do that for sure. Anything else you wanted to share on honesty and positivity, everyone?
Yeah, well, honesty and positivity, that's like peanut butter and jelly.
I
For
like that.
real. You know, the more, and that's the thing, once one is more tapped in and tuned into the reality of how this whole shit operates and works,
Mm.
you receive what you produce. That simple. So if you want to produce lies and fables and bullshit and this, you're just gonna get that right back.
Mm.
For real. It's gonna come back to you. So it's like, just do yourself the favor and just keep it 100, or be as honest as humanly possible in any and every situation that you can. And no one is 100% honest at all times. We all fall short, but try to do your best to be as honest as humanly possible, and then be optimistic while doing so, be positive while doing so, especially if you know the outcome of you being honest, even if it may hurt someone, or depending on the circumstance and condition, it all can vary. But as long as it's coming from a place of love, ultimately, that's what matters. And then that also builds character. I actually wanted to elaborate on that previously. You know what I'm saying? But honesty is needed. If someone really cares for you and loves you, they're gonna be honest with you. They're gonna tell you, yo, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is what it is.
Mhm.
And that's an excellent quality. And yes, some people can get uncomfortable, but uncomfortability leads to growth.
Mm.
Absolutely. And
So,
positivity.
uh,
Agreements, man.
I was
Being
looking
impeccable
the
with your word.
etymology up, and thank you for that, City Blue. Very well said. Um,
give
positivity.
thanks.
The etymology we have here comes from this word here that says positif, which is the old French, and it's about placing and laying things down.
Honesty?
Yeah, right.
Huh, you laying down the truth.
Yeah,
Bam.
laying down that truth, but also, when you're laying things down, and it's talking about setting things as well. So
Mm.
placing, setting things, laying things down, um, lay down and admitting no
On
question.
nest. Nest. Oh,
It,
nest.
and it says laying down and admitting no question, also certain.
Mm.
That's powerful.
Wow.
Yeah,
Hmm.
certain.
See, listen, I'm listening to it, but I'm not really reacting to it because I know if I do, we're gonna go down a rabbit hole. We need to move on.
Right.
Yeah. So
It
But
makes
like, this is, but that in itself is so fire. I'm like, there's so many layers within that. That's amazing.
and then negativity. Yeah, we can talk about that like another time or when we got some time. But
Yeah,
negativity,
what's negative? What's negativity?
negative etymology, negare, or to negate or to deny, comes from denial. So to negate something, to deny it.
Wait a second. So positivity comes from honesty, and negativity comes with denial.
Now, positivity comes from certainty, being certain and laying things down.
Yeah.
Now, negativity is to deny. So it's always denying whatever it's laid down, I guess. It's always denying.
Bro, think about that, bro. That's so fire because
Right.
negativity, when you're being negative, all you're doing is denying the truth of reality.
That's
Positivity, you're just being honest with the truth of your reality.
exactly, which is optimistic.
Wow.
Acceptance.
Right. Thank you, City Blue. So,
Yes.
No, just like Blue said, you're sowing seeds. You're sowing the positivity. You're either sowing seeds of divine divinity and celestial awareness, or you're selling. You guys, Blue would say you're sowing bullshit. And so, but when you either you deny or you accept that. So
Right.
even if you sow bullshit, if you just accept that reality and are honest with it, then that intention can still grow into a tree. It can still be used as fertilizer. But when you deny even that reality, then what you get is negativity.
Hmm.
exactly,
Hmm.
exactly. So okay, so moving on, because we have two
Yes,
other
yes, yes.
sultans with other things that we wanted to speak about as well. So this kind of reminds me of the concept of focus, because we want to stay on focus. We want to make sure that we are focused. And for the third one, we have for the third one we have City Blue. Triple threes, emphasis on the threes eternally. So,
Know the vibes.
what can you tell us about focus, Kay?
Focus. Oh man, focus, 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 focus. Especially living in New York City. There's so many ways one can go about being focused. You know, what I love about this city is a bittersweet is that this tests your ability to focus because there's a trillion and one and then some distractions right at your disposal, right before you. It's how is one
At your
going
disposal.
for real, for real. Like it's at your fingertips. Like, oh, let me distract myself with this. Oh, let me distract myself with that. Oh, this
I
is
think I
happening.
think the epitome in New York is like, ooh, shiny. Ooh, that's
Yeah.
shiny. Ooh, that's shiny.
Word, word. You know what I'm saying? And saying that to say it's like, go ahead, go ahead.
No, I just said it's the biggest distraction ever.
Yes, yes. And with that focus, once I feel focus comes from you have to be real and honest with yourself, learn your environment, know what distracts you. Once you get to that level, then you can honestly focus because now you can discern what is a distraction as opposed to what you need to focus on. So focus, yeah, it's honestly it stems from honesty, and then you can move into focus.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And then you had two other ones, City Blue, as well. Uh,
Lay it on me.
okay, let me see. So be positive with you. Let me see. Uh, uh,
Land
And and accountability, right?
accountability. Yeah.
accountability, and
Yeah.
decisiveness.
Yes, yes, yes.
And what
So,
was the other one, right?
Decisiveness.
Decisiveness. Okay, yes. Yo, accountability, man. That
Accountability, boy.
all of these is a big tree. Like, I mean, pardon me, they're branches to a big tree. Because for accountability, you once again you got to be honest with yourself, and that can be applied universally. Accountability to, let's say, and Ra, I'm glad that you brought up the whole the imagery of when you was basically reenacting when your mom would call you. Like, let's say for instance,
Yeah,
your
yeah.
mom, you feel me? Like,
Yes,
let,
yes.
let's say for instance, your mother told you to go run an errand real quick, go do compra, go do some grocery shopping for her real quick. And now let's say she told you, yo, you better go to the store before that shit close, else we not eating no dinner or you not eating no dinner. Now you just say you on a phone call or you in the crib, you distracted, you playing a video game or you doing whatever, whatever, whatever. Then you lose track of time. By the time you know it, it's all said and done, store closed. Now you not eating. So guess what? You gotta hold yourself accountable. You feel me? Now you gotta find an alternative method as to yo mom. I fucked up. You feel me? But hold yourself accountable. Now it's like, okay, I fucked up. I'm gonna hold myself accountable. What can I do to fix this issue now? Because I'm the one that fucked
Solution.
it up.
So
There
solution
you
oriented
go.
mind. So
Correct.
I so because I believe I was in my head thinking about what is the correlation between honesty and accountability. What's the difference? And I
Mm,
believe that accountability is coming with that honesty, but adding that honesty with a solution oriented mind. So you're accountable for that situation, not just honest about it, because just being honest about it is admitting it. Now I'm admitting it, and now I'm taking action. So I feel like definitely accountability is one of those more aggressive qualities of a leader, as opposed to honesty being one of the passive qualities of a leader.
Mm.
I think in your ability to take account is basically what it is too. It's like, yo, you're also watching your patterns. You know what I mean? And you're when you're accountable, you're like, all right, cool. So I can hold myself accountable every time because I know that, like, as a leader, this is a manifestation of my own doing whatever it is. You know what I mean? So just being able to say, yeah, I did that. Yeah, I messed up, or yeah, I'm doing better now. You know what I mean? Like, that accountability is very important because when you can take account of your progress, it'll allow you to see how you can progress even further.
And I want to add something else now. Since we're talking about accountability, this just came to my head. This came to sound mind, and a lot of people can identify with this with accountability. Is, let's say if you have to go to work, okay, whatever time you go to work, or have a system that works for you. So if you have a long ass commute until you get to work, and a train may malfunction, there may be a sick passenger, um allow yourself to have room for error if possible. And saying that to say, if you're late for work, I mean, yes, once again, things can happen. You know what I'm saying? Not to use an excuse, but try your best not to use an excuse, and do your absolute best to really meet the universe halfway with being accountable, even for waking up 15 or half an hour earlier. You know
Hmm.
what I'm saying? Like, really, and really, it's about you safeguarding yourself. You know what I'm saying? And these are like just the little practices of this, I feel, builds
Speaking of that,
character.
you have to even be decisive about those moments.
Right.
Correct. That
Right.
is correct.
Sum up for me
So
is like,
let's go straight into decisiveness then. Like, how does being decisive help in terms of leadership, and the foundation.
Well, that deals with being quick with it. You got to stay on your toes. Don't be too comfortable. That's another thing. And there's a time, place, and space for everything as well.
I
Too
think
much of anything is no good. Go ahead, go ahead.
no, I was also gonna add, that being decisive is knowing how to discern, knowing what your core values are. It includes all of these things because when you know what your core values are, and when you know how to decide, because oh my god, indecision is the worst. You make no progress there. So I think it stems from knowing what your values are, knowing how you exist to serve, knowing where you're going and where you are, in terms of your company's purpose, vision, missions, and values. And we spoke about this before. And that'll kind of help you to decide. It'll help you to choose what to do, what not to do, who to do it with, and most importantly, not who not to do it with. You know, so I think decisiveness is very important. Just know, based on your values, based on the thing that you value the most, whether it's your company, whatever. Like, do we value this? We value our time. We value accountability. All right, so if that aligns with this, then we can move forward. But if it does not align with it, then we throw it out. Yeah, straight up.
It's a line. It's a line.
Right.
It's a
Anyone
line.
else on decisiveness, or are we good? Okay.
No,
I
I
said my piece.
decisively decide that we should
Yeah.
move forward.
Okay, let's move forward. And you got the final ones, Reverend Ra. Would you like to reveal them to us?
So the final one
Yeah.
is the ability to inspire,
Mm,
right? And I think what's amazing is that we learned last week that the etymology of inspiration is to take a deep breath, and to expire is to exhale. So it's amazing that the ability to inspire is literally saying the ability to take a deep breath,
yes.
right? But we understand that the breath is consciousness.
Yes.
So the ability to inspire becomes the ability to almost stimulate consciousness, right? So
Get
it's
it?
like, wow, you know what? Do I have the ability to inspire? Think about, do I have the ability to stimulate somebody's consciousness? If you do, then you have the ability to inspire. So anybody can inspire anyone. All you have to do is stimulate consciousness. How you do that? By stimulating your own and transmuting that feeling to someone else.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think inspire is kind of spitting that spirit, like you said, bringing that spirit within
In
again.
spirit,
So
yes.
you should just be inspired daily, like you know what I mean. Like the best motivators motivate themselves, and like if you're able to motivate yourself daily, and people, that's very important. And like the most people get inspired is by your own actions, by what you do, how you lead through example. So when we have to make sure that we're striving constantly to embody many of these pieces, you know what I mean, many of these pieces of leadership skills, and bringing them all together, just bringing them all together just so that we can understand understand where we're going, but also show people that you can do it too. That's what inspiration is. Like, you can do it too. But I'm gonna be the walking example. That's why I became the walking crystal, because I'm like, if a rock can do it, if I'm a rock, if I chose to embody a rock, you can embody anything. So
That's a fact. And with inspiring, you know, one can be inspired just by the way you talk, by the way you laugh, by the way you take care of responsibilities, tasks, how you maneuver, what you do. You know, inspiration can come from uh it's like an endless amount of variables. You know, it can be something so simple like, oh yeah, just you wearing that color is inspiration. You know what I'm saying? It all depends. Once again, the I'd say the setting and circumstance, but you can inspire someone just from being you, literally, just being yourself. You know,
absolutely,
and we can overlook these things because it's coming and stemming from a first person perspective as opposed to third party person perspective where it's the outside looking in. Because like I just be, you know what I'm saying? And I constantly, humbly speaking, by God's grace, I get compliments by way of just my positive attitude, my optimism, even just my presence. Just me being still. People just feel my energy and they'll be like, "Yo, you're just so calm," and that
I affirm
reverberates to them.
that.
And then that is another language of being inspired too, because it's like, yo, let's say someone was having a fucked up day, you know what I'm saying, and then someone comes in the train card or comes in their reality and their circumference, and they're absorbing their energy, and they like yo, just by looking at the person's face, you're like, yo, I just feel at peace right now, like I needed you. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, something so simple. But that's the thing, it's like you could just be and you don't even know you inspiring somebody.
Right.
That's the beauty of it. Yeah. Real shit.
Absolutely. Many few people know how many people they inspire, because sometimes haters be the most inspired. You know what I mean? Like, when they be the most inspired. They watching you, like, you know what I'm saying, like white on rice on a paper. They
Facts.
like white on rice, like on a paper plate in a snowstorm. Like, You know what I'm saying? Like they on it.
Word, like a lab rat. They got the magnifying glass. Like,
Yeah, straight up. Yeah. So what do we have after Inspired City Raw? We can't hear you. You're on mute, brother.
yo, unmute yourself, King. Unmute yourself.
We hear you.
Oh,
There you go.
excuse me.
Yeah,
Bless,
yeah, go
bless.
ahead.
I was saying that we've covered every quality that we did during the first episode, but what's amazing is that the juxtaposition between the first episode and right now, it's been about 7, 8 months since that first episode. So we've had time to go into our respective realities and actually exude these qualities, actually live out these qualities, see the ramifications of these qualities. And now we've gotten to a point now where we are still able to articulate them on an intellectual basis and able to we're articulating them so that we can give value. But ultimately, it's about living the qualities. So our how we may have articulated it in the first episode may be better now, but that's only indicative of the experiences that we've had since that time.
Oh yeah.
So it's really not about, as we said, the words that we're saying, the 10% that you were able to hear probably over, the podcast on Spotify or, or watch us on YouTube. What you're hearing is our words, but what you see communicating through our tonality and through our body language is the seriousness of our own respective realities and what we've actually been exuding within ourselves and seeing the reflections of that exudance. You know what I mean? Blue, getting compliments and M going into his reality and him training and being accountable for what he wants to do with his body, what he wants to do with his health, and Bliss going into his reality and becoming more communicative and not only with himself but communicative with his brand. You know what I mean? So it's a very living reality, but we're glad that we're here to definitely give you value and give you tips and give you clues because they say success leaves clues. We're giving you clues to your own success as well. So thank you guys so much for staying tuned. Thank you guys so much for listening. And we hope that you continue on your own journey of being a leader, of being a divine masculine, and being a spiritualist within your community.
Absolutely.
Perfectly stated, Ra. Give thanks, give thanks, give thanks. Word.
So, well, I guess with that being said, we can end here and hit it. Everybody, we appreciate you. Make sure that you like, that you subscribe, that you
And
share.
share. Yep, the three.
Comment,
Magical three.
show
Hit
some
that
love.
like
And if
button.
you have any questions, any topics that you think we should talk about, make sure.
Drop them in the comments below.
With that being said, we leave y'all.
Thank you all for tuning in and staying along for this journey with us as we recapped, our journeys and just our view of leadership qualities. This has been a beautiful journey and yeah, it was a great conversation. So thank you for tuning in. I am City Bliss.
I'm City Stone or City M, Emerald Stone and Walking Crystal. Plus.
I am Blue Lotus, triple threes, emphasis on the threes, eternally, always and forever, baby. Tap in.
I am City Ra, aka King Ra. Bless, bless, love, love. Thank you for tuning in. City salute.
City
City
Salute.
salute.